Congratulations! You have accepted an offer on your house. The next 2 to 3 weeks are very important in this process, but don't worry, I'm here to walk you through the entire process. One of the first things that will happen is the buyer and their agent is going to decide what inspections they want and hire the inspectors to come to your house. Once scheduled, they will let me know the date and time, and I will let you know. For the home inspection and the termite inspection, you want to make sure that all the areas of the house are accessible. If you have a crawl space or an attic space, please make sure the inspectors can get to them. In your garage, if possible, try to leave the walls accessible. If you have boxes piled against the walls, and if they're somewhat movable, please move them towards the center of the garage so that the inspector can see the walls. Make sure that your smoke detectors are working and that you've also installed your carbon monoxide detectors prior to the inspection. You do not need to be home during the inspection. The buyer's agent should be there, and many times the buyer will be present as well. We will get a copy of the inspection report once it is ready. The lender will also schedule the appraiser to come out and do the property appraisal. After those things happen, we will wait for the buyers to get their inspections back and decide if they're satisfied with the condition of the house or if there are repairs that they would like done in order for them to proceed with purchasing it. Remember, they are within their inspection contingency timeframe, and it would be within their right to cancel if things come up on the inspection that they felt uncomfortable with. Should they present us with a repair request, we have several options. We can agree to the repairs, we can negotiate which repairs will be done and which ones won't, or we can decide not to do any of the repairs. In the latter two options, the buyer then gets the option to decide if they accept our response or if they would like to cancel the contract. Usually, we are able to negotiate and come to an agreement that everyone feels is agreeable. Once we have agreed upon any repairs requested, we then ask the buyer to remove their inspection contingency. Once they do that, they cannot cancel for the reason of condition of the house. Then we will wait for the appraisal to come back. Should the appraisal come back at the purchase price, then we are good to go. We then ask the buyer to remove their appraisal contingency. If the appraisal comes in low, we have 4 options. Reduce the sales price to appraised value, meet somewhere in the middle with the buyer bringing in the additional funds to make up the difference, and you also lowering the purchase price, or the buyer makes up the entire difference bringing in the additional funds, or last choice, we cancel the contract. Usually around the 3rd week, we hear back from the lender once their loan has been fully approved, and if there are any issues arising with the loan, once the loan is approved, the buyer will remove their loan contingency. After all 3 contingencies are removed, buyer does not have a way to cancel the contract without risking losing their deposit. If any repairs were agreed to, you should start getting those items fixed, as they will need to be done prior to close of escrow, and in some cases, if it is a repair that is required for the buyer's loan, we will want to get those repairs done as soon as possible so that the appraiser or the inspector can come back out to certify that the work was done. I recommend that you do not completely pack or move out until the buyer has removed all of their contingencies or until we feel very confident that the transaction will close. You should, however, go ahead and schedule your moving company if you are using one because they do book up well in advance. Close of escrow. What is close of escrow? That is the date that the escrow records the deed to the property to the new owner. That is the day that you are no longer the owner of your property. While the contract has a specific close of escrow date, there are so many variables out of our control that a date ends up being more like a target that we shoot for, and we rarely actually close on that exact date. But as we get closer, we will have a better idea. Once the buyer's loan docs come into escrow and they sign, we usually will close within 3 to 5 business days after that. Rest assured that I will be keeping in constant contact with the buyer's lender, finding out when we can anticipate their loan docs coming in and finding out what particular lender timeframes are for funding the buyer's loan after they sign their documents. I know that was a lot of information, but I hope that it helps a little bit with some extra knowledge, and I hope it helps you understand all the moving parts that are happening during your escrow process. As always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here to help and to answer any questions you may have.